I just thought, what is your app about, this shopping app?
Well, the website is Shop Sovereign Collective, and it's a global shopping platform. It's sort of like an elevated Etsy, curated, where everyone has their own storefront in the different cities. So you can shop different cities. So you can shop Paris, you can do art and wine and cheese and fashion, men's, women's, kids. And then we're doing a magazine that you can shop with it. And so it's fun. Like and it's really a lot of sort of emerging brands. So it may not be brands that you already know. We're doing vintage, just a little different, a little more fun.
I love that. Someone asked me this on an interview when I was on another podcast recently, and I thought it was the best question. I mean, I think I might know your answer, but if you could only wear one brand that we know of, because I do think of you as a fashion girl or woman, I should say, what brand would that be for you?
Oh gosh. It's really hard for me to say because I get up in the morning and I put jeans and t-shirts on. So, I mean, Hermes would obviously be, if I were just to think, okay, because accessories wise, I would say Hermes, and it's for many, many reasons, but because, I was wearing it when I was in my 20s, kind of before everyone. I remember going to Melrose and bringing in my first Kelly bag that I had bought with my money I made on Melrose. And everyone was like looking at me like everyone was into Fendi and Balenciaga. Everyone was into such other things. And it was kind of like a little granny bag at the time. But of course I grew up with like, oh, Catherine Deneuve has this bag and Grace Kelly has this bag and I have to have it because it was just iconic. So I was kind of doing it a while ago. And now it's become such a thing that it's almost like when you wear it, it's taken a little bit of the fun away. You know what I mean? Because everyone has 500 of them now, not everyone, but you see it like everyone wants a million of them. But I think in terms of investment, it's probably one of the best investments you can make in terms of a brand. Let's put it that way. It's smart money spent.
I would agree with that. And I don't know if this is just from following you on Instagram, but I associate you with Hermes. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's funny.
I wonder if that was in part because of Gossip Girl and Lily Woodsen.
Probably.
How did that come to you? How did Gossip? So, Melrose ends and, now you're doing other things. How did Gossip Girl come your way?
I had read for the OC and I didn't go to test for it. There were 3 of us that were going to test for it. And I ended up getting testing for something else called Threat Matrix and getting it. So I didn't even make it to the test for the OC. So I had met with them. They did the OC. And then when they created Gossip Girl, they asked me to come back and read for Blake's mom. So I did. And then they said, great, we'd love to have you on the show. And that's how it happened. So
were you ever like, as the OC became a huge thing, were you ever like, wow, that looks like a great show I could have been a part of? Or as an actress, once it doesn't work out, or you're onto something else, you never look back?
I so trust that we're divinely guided and protected because I was so much more suited to play Lily than I ever would have been to do the OC. Like it was like meant to be.
What character on the OC? The one that
it was Kelly Rowan's role, I think, because it was Kelly Lynch, Kelly Rowan, and myself, all Kellys reading for this mom part, or we're going to test for this mom part. And Kelly Rowan's a good friend of mine. So I was so excited that she got it because I had gotten this other show. So I was like, oh, good. She got the part and she did a great job. So
another classic show. You could have been, when you first heard about Gossip Girl and they came to you, was there like a buzz, because the books were so big, was there a buzz around that? Like, could you tell, like the OC was like a huge thing and it was like Josh Schwartz, and was it that type of buzz around, like, you never know with TV in Hollywood, but was there that type of buzz around it?
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone kind of got behind it, which is nice.
What attracted you to like Lily? Like, what was it about Lily?
She reminded me a little bit of my own mother, which I loved. And I liked the idea of playing a matriarch versus just like a housewifey mom or sort of more traditional mom. because my mother was anything but traditional. And even though she was very classic and classy and all of those things traditional, her values were traditional, but she wasn't traditional at all in her parenting so it was fun to, and also a mother you got to really, I don't know. I loved the way it was written. I loved that she loved fashion because I've always loved fashion. And even no matter what role I play, I always think it's so important. So the fact that they really valued that, and I could contribute to that with Eric Damon, and he was so creative. And I love New York City, and I love those women in New York City so much, that you see walking down Madison Avenue looking fabulous. So those are the women that I've always loved. And so to be playing that role was so much fun for me.
Did you do any research? Because like you live in New York, or were you just, you live in New York, you kind of know what it's all about, like the Upper East Side, like private school scene. And like you say, like the ladies who lunch.
I knew, so I was just so happy to finally be able to express it, to have a place to express all of that, for sure.
Right. Like how much of you is similar to Lily?
It's funny when we do the fittings and I'd say, okay, wait a minute, this is me. We got to make it Lily. So we'd have to like go from, okay, this is something I would totally wear and then we'd have to sort of work with it until it felt like Lily, like, okay, we need to add this or add that or make it a little. So, but it wasn't me. I mean, it was a real mix of the women that I love and know and admire, who are so chic and that are true matriarchs, and even it feels like it's from another time, you don't see it at least portrayed on television, rarely. So, and kind of in a way that's authentic, that's not over the top, let's say, or it's believable.
I thought Lily was so, just living in New York and knowing lots of Lilies myself and having grown up around it, it was like, this is exactly how Lily should be, like it was how happy were you to like be working in New York?
Oh my God, I was so excited. I remember the first day my trailer was parked right in front of my favorite nail salon in New York. And I literally during lunch got out and got a manicure, came back to my trailer. I was like, this is great. Like, then we'd be parked in front of like La Durée or a great gallery. And I'd be like at lunch, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to go grab a sandwich and go to the gallery. I mean, it was just that's what's great about New York is, you're not like in a studio. I mean, we were in Silvercup, but on the days that we were on location, you could literally run your errands at lunch and,
in New York was such like the extra character in that show, like those scenes of
for
like,
sure.
What about, because then all the kids, as you say, like they were all unknowns. Like, could you tell like right from the beginning, like Leighton and Blake and like Penn, like we have magic here. Like this is a talented group of people.
Oh yeah. They were all so magical, all of them, and all so talented and did such a incredible job with their roles.
What about like, what was it like? Cause you had plenty of scenes with Blake Lively. Like, what was it like working with Blake?
She's just so magical and like cool. She's like the cool girl, I don't know. She just has such a way about her. She's so inspiring because she's really fearless, not afraid of anyone, and very open. I think she comes from a big family and, a lot of older sisters. So I think she sort of was used to that person, having that personality of getting in the room and really being able to be seen and heard. And she's just such a cool person.
Did you kind of have that mother-daughter relationship on set?
We did. I was a new mom myself. I mean, I was literally breastfeeding in my trail, when I wasn't in the beginning. My son was 6 months, old or something. And so it was a lot being a brand new mom myself and then playing the mom on the show. So I didn't, we didn't all become like chummy friends in a way, which we probably might normally have become more that way had I not. I just didn't have the bandwidth. So but it worked out great because there was this sort of separateness that allowed that relationship. I don't know if I'm articulating that well, but it created enough distance where it worked to be the parent in that way.
That makes sense. And that is kind of the relationship like Serena and Lily had. Love, but they had their differences at times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.